Hello, I'm Jenna. This is ASL Stew. Okay, today I am by myself. No Jill. The reason is recently we got a book and they asked us to give an honest review. And I thought, sure, why not? I love reading. However, it's not really Jill's thing, but I am definitely a bookworm. So, the book is some of you might know who this is, Mandy Harvey. She's from, I believe, the show America's Got Talent, whatever that show is. I'm going to be honest, I do not watch the show. I haven't followed. The only thing I know is that she is a famous singer and songwriter, musician, whatever she's labeled. But that's all I know is that she won the show, which is awesome. She knows some sign language, which is cool. But that's all I know about her. I don't watch or follow that show or anything. I don't know really much more about her than that. So I guess my review is pretty much neutral. It's purely from what I read, and that's it. So I got the book, and it's pretty short. It's somewhere around 200 pages. So I read it in a couple of hours. Just didn't take me that long. It was a pretty short read. It was an easy read, very easy to go through. So nothing too complicated. One thing I did really enjoy is I liked reading about her experience of when she went deaf and how that felt for her. She kind of went through a depression and a stage where, she didn't know what to do. So it was interesting reading that journey. I liked reading the chapter when she was talking about how she learned to sing new songs if she couldn't hear anymore. So what exactly was that process for her? That I found fascinating. That was really cool, just seeing what she did. So I like that part the most. So those are some of the things that I liked about the book. Now, some of the things I didn't like, I would say overall, I was a little bit confused on her intention for the book. It was kind of like a biography mixed with a self-help / self-inspiration mixed with a how-to. So it was kind of all over the place, and I couldn't really tell what the main purpose was. Like, what was the identity of the book? So that was a little bit confusing to me because there were so many different topics that she touched on. So I guess I kind of felt it was a little bit shallow and it didn't go too much in depth. So I think I'd like to see more in depth about the topics. Maybe the first book could be one specific topic, and then she could have gone into a different book, with more in depth on another topic, like split it into multiple books, and then have a more expanded version of each topic. I think that would be more helpful for me. But again, that's just my opinion. Another thing that I was kind of like, ugh, is from my understanding, she's latent deaf. I don't know how she identifies. I don't know her experience within the deaf community. I'm not aware of that, which is fine. But one thing which I don't know if she didn't have the right information or the guy, Mark Atterbury, the man who helped her, like co-wrote the book. He's a professional writer, so he probably knows all the word choices and whatnot, which is fine. But one of them, or maybe both of them, has some wrong information. For example, they were talking about how deaf culture is against being involved in music. And I was like, no, that's not true. There are a lot of different deaf musicians, like Sean Forbes, Mike from Definitely Dope, and there's many, many more. So deaf culture and the deaf community overall, there's no specific dislike of music. I love music personally. I mean, of course, there are going to be individuals who are against music, and that's just like any sort of group or any community. There's going to be people, in support or against something, but you can't label an entire community in that sense. So that I felt was a little bit too harsh. I don't want to say harsh, but I don't know. I think it was going a little bit far, labeling the entire deaf community as a whole being against music and being against singing and using your voice, which is not true. I mean, and they put that in the book, and I felt it was too misgeneral information. Another part, they were describing what is the difference between capital D deaf and lowercase d deaf. And I felt it was A or B is how they put it. Like, I think it said capital D deaf means people who became deaf age 2 or from birth and they have deaf parents. And I was like, no, that's not true. Culturally deaf with a capital D has nothing to do of when you became deaf. It's not about that. And less than 10% of deaf people actually have at least one or more deaf parents. Less than 10%. So most people have hearing parents. So it's not an A or B, capital D or lowercase d deaf. There's a lot of overlap in that. And it has a lot to do with your personal experience, your journey into the deaf community, how immersed you are into deaf culture and your sign language. So it's all about an identity. It has nothing to do with when you became deaf. Do you have deaf relatives or anything like that? Some people do, but most don't. So that sort of misinformation kind of took me aback when they put that in the book, because most people who read this book, I'm assuming, know nothing about deaf culture and the deaf community, deaf identity, that sort of thing. So it kind of just made me feel a little bit about that. It says it had some wrong information there. There was that, and I would say overall, I think it's an okay book. It's good for people who like to read some sort of inspirational book, like a biography, that type of thing. Again, it's an easy read. If you're a big fan of her, I'm sure you would like this book. Like I said, I'm more neutral. I don't know much about her, so I thought it was okay. I read it once, but I wouldn't read it again. Honestly, I wouldn't purchase it. It's just not my thing. It's just not my preference of book. But, like I said, I'm not saying it's an awful book. It just didn't match my preference. I believe there was some wrong information in there. And like I said, her experience, some of that was really cool to read. So kind of, I guess it's a mixed review in my opinion. It's really going to depend on the individual. If you like that sort of thing, great. If you're a fan of hers, great. Go ahead and read it. If you're not, then I would say maybe don't expect too much from it. But that's my review. Yeah. So, if you like this video, let me know if you want more book reviews or movie reviews, whatever. I'm more than willing to do that. Why not? So, yeah, definitely let me know what sort of reviews you would like me to do. So, if you enjoyed the video, click like. And if you haven't, go ahead and subscribe. Also, we have a few different avenues of support. You can take a look at our Patreon page, see some cool perks that we have there. Also, we have Ko-fi for a one-time, any amount donation, and we always appreciate any support that you give us. Thank you so much. You're amazing. Oh, and also we have our ASL Stew store for shirts or stickers if you're interested in purchasing those. Why not? Do it. All right, hopefully see you in the next video. Bye.